Good morning, everyone. My name is Mariana Zachary, and I'm providing my literature review for the research question, the impact of social and environmental stressors on criminal behavior. Crime has existed since the beginning of time, as evident in the book of Genesis, which tells us the story of Cain and Abel and the first homicide in history. Social science researchers and criminologists have been trying to understand criminal behavior and the criminal mind for the longest time. Many theories have been developed in an attempt to explain it, but no one theory has been successful completely. Humans are very complex machines, and there are many environmental, economic, social, biological, and psychological conditions that differently affect each individual, making it hard for a general theory to be developed to encompass all. Generally, crime is defined as the intentional commission or omission of an act deemed socially harmful and prohibited under criminal law. Understanding the reasons and underlying issues for the commission of crime is highly important to the development of effective public policy to control crime and rehabilitate criminals. There are many theories in criminology. Some hold individuals fully responsible for their decision to commit crime. Some hold certain genetic or psychological traits responsible for the criminal act. Some hold the community responsible for the acts of their citizens. When Gary Becker wrote Crime and Punishment, an Economic Approach in the 1960s, he was the first to research crime from an economic standpoint. Since then, several researchers followed suit and produced a large body of literature on the economic approach to the study of crime and criminology. Becker aimed to analyze criminal behavior and have reward and punishment deter individuals from engaging in criminal activities. The journal article Crime, Inequality, and Employment by Kenneth Broudet, Lagos, and Wright, published in 2003, continues in the Becker tradition, yet it uses a different, more empirical approach, discussing the causal relationship between unemployment and crime and vice versa, and the effects of anti-crime policies. Using an equilibrium search model previously discussed in the journal article, an equilibrium model of search on unemployment by Albrecht and Axel. In their 2004 journal article, Crime and Poverty, a search theoretic approach by Huang, Ling, and Wang, also offers similar research, but they research the causal relationship between levels of education, labor market opportunities, poverty, and crime. According to David McMillan, Simon, and Morenoff, in their modeling of underlying dynamics of the spread of crime article, crime is a complex and dynamic subject. Their research analyzes a series of dynamic systems, models of the spread of crime and imprisonment and recidivism. The article builds on tradition of systems models applied to crime that begin with the influential report of the Science and Technology Task Force of the President's Commission on Law Enforcement and Administration of Justice. The task force was established by President Lyndon Johnson on July 23, 1965, to address the causes of crime and delinquency and provide recommendations on methods to prevent crime and delinquency and reform the criminal justice system. Lawrence Miller, in his 2014 journal article, Juvenile Crime and Juvenile Justice, Patterns, Models, and Implications for Clinical and Legal Practice, reviews the identified factors and characteristics associated with juvenile crime and juvenile justice. The article presents an overview of studies examining the age crime curve. The research points out the correlation between criminal behavior in juveniles and their ability to deal with criminogenic influences around them. Personality and biological and psychological development and the level of their behavior also part of the equation. Many scientists and researchers continue to provide theories on the subject of adolescence and crime. Many of them agree on the fact that an adolescent's brain is not fully developed to be held responsible for the criminal act, but the question still stays: what would be the age which an adolescent can still be fully responsible for their actions? So that's an unanswered question. In her 1993 article, Adolescence, Limited and Life Course persistent antisocial behavior, a developmental taxonomy, Moffett suggests that there exist two categories of delinquents: the adolescence limited group and the life course persistent group. She also elaborates on the distinction between temporary and persistent antisocial behavior, and argues that for most young people, criminal activity is mild and infrequent and peer-driven, becoming most notable in late adolescence and early adulthood years. She also states that there are only a small percentage of youth with a characteristic cognitive and temperamental profile, such as self-esteem and self-insight, who appear to be resilient to the above factors. A small group of chronic offenders start their aggressive and antisocial behavior in childhood years, and that continues to commit more serious offenses as they grow older, becoming career criminals. Philip Belli, Gonzalo Castex, and Decter, in their 2022 research article that changing determinants of juvenile crime, argue that the reduction of crime in the United States in the 1990s and 2000s was a result of a change in the socio-economic environment, mainly a stronger economy offering better employment opportunities for lower skilled individuals, and a shift in demographics, such as an increase in parental education. They also add that a change in public policy during that time has also helped by implementing stricter laws and imprisonment sentences, emphasizing intolerance towards crime, instilling reforms to firearm policies, and criminal justice innovations such as community policing and improved policing strategies that were all factors, as well as a significant decline in the inclinations toward antisocial behavior by youth. In the book Criminal Men, published in 1876, Cesar Lombroso, he argued that the classical biological theory of criminality states that criminality is inherited, and that born criminals could be identified based on their features and physical characteristics. This, though, in 2003, Molly and Hull investigated the effects of genetics and environmental conditions on criminal behavior and found no links between genes and criminal behavior. However, major advances in the fields of biology, genetics, neuroscience, and psychiatry resulted in the development in biological theories that consider genetics, including testosterone and IQ levels, as well as neurological characteristics, by tracking neurotransmitter levels in the brain. The article, Its Nature and Nurture, Integrating Biology and Genetics into the Social Learning Theory of Criminal Behavior, by Brianna Fox, suggests that both biological and social learning factors should be used to develop one theory to help better understand criminal inclination. The rational choice theory, on the other hand, is a classical criminology theory which argues that people choose to commit crime after logically considering the pros and cons behind committing a criminal act, taking into consideration punishment and reward. But for this theory to be fully true, so does the hypothesis that people are rational at all times, which is not true. In conclusion, the reason behind committing an act of crime is not always simple. Some cases offer a more clear motive, while others do not. And to fully understand the causal relationship when an individual commits a crime could involve many different elements that vary from person to person. As crime is a dynamic concept, the evolution of society means the development of new crimes and rules, forcing the government to regulate those potential criminal behavior by law, such as cybercrime and internet fraud. There's so many ongoing issues that need to be addressed. Thank you.